Have you ever felt a wave of emotion moving through your body and you instantly tried to distract yourself with scrolling, with snacking on food, or just keeping busy? What if I told you that sitting with your emotions is one of the most powerful skills you can learn? Actually allowing yourself to feel those emotions is something that helps you feel stronger, and it helps you feel more in control of your emotions each time you allow yourself to do that. I've recently had to sit with very difficult and intense emotions for days on end, and I allowed myself to feel them, for them to be there, to move through my body and to feel them in my body. And now, as a result, I feel lighter, I feel more peaceful, and I feel like a stronger version of myself. I feel like I've grown through that experience. In this day and age, we are told to not dwell on things, to move on, to chin up, but really, this does not help, because ignoring our emotions does not mean they're going to go away. We're just going to take them with them wherever we go. So today, I really want to talk about the benefits of sitting with your emotions and why this can be uncomfortable, but also deeply transformative. Hi, I'm Katharina. I'm a registered clinical counselor and a registered dance movement therapist, and I live in Australia. And as always, a quick disclaimer: please seek medical advice from your trusted medical professionals, such as your doctor, if you are concerned for your health before making any changes in your lifestyle. So let's get into it. The first benefit of sitting with your emotions that I'm going to talk about is so crucial to your overall health. When you choose to sit with an emotion, you end up moving through this state much faster, because you allow your feeling to rise and fall naturally. And that signals to your nervous system that you are safe. So you're no longer fighting this. You're no longer in a stress mode where you put yourself into survival mode and you're signaling to your body that you're not safe. When you're allowing the emotion and when you're sitting with it, you're signaling that you are safe. And that puts you in a parasympathetic nervous system state, which is so important for nervous system regulation. So avoiding your emotions keeps them stuck, but being present with them helps them move on naturally. The next benefit of sitting with your emotions really speaks to your overall emotional strength and mental strength. And that is that you're building self-trust by proving to yourself that you can handle this. You can sit with anger, fear, frustration without judging it. And that confidence carries into your relationships, into your decision making, and also into setting boundaries with yourself and with others, which is so important for your overall emotional well-being. This next benefit I'm going to talk about is actually my favorite benefit of sitting with your emotions, because emotions are information. So if you approach them with curiosity, you take the judgment out of feeling those difficult feelings, your self-judgment around it. You slow down and listen to what needs attention in your life. Maybe it was a boundary that was crossed that you need attending to, or it was a value that matters to you that you need to revisit, or it was a need that's been ignored that you may need to address. So sitting with your emotions can turn confusion into clarity. So how do we actually sit with an emotion? How does that work? Well, it's not about wallowing in them. It is allowing the emotion to be there. It's allowing yourself to feel the emotion. And it's about naming it. We say name it to tame it. So if you feel anger, you can tell yourself, I'm angry. You don't have to say it out aloud, but you can if you want to. If you feel frustrated, you say, I feel frustrated. If you feel sad, you say, I feel sad. And then you try to locate that feeling in your body. And it's okay if you find that difficult at first, because that can be quite difficult if we are quite disconnected from our body, which is something I talk about in other videos and about the body-mind connection. So maybe you feel that emotion in your throat. Maybe you feel it in your chest. Maybe you feel it in your tummy. Maybe you feel it elsewhere, but it's about breathing into that body part and let the emotion exist. And like I said before, it can take days sometimes if it's a strong and intense emotion. And just sitting with it will allow it to pass eventually. And it's really about not judging the fact that it's there, that you're experiencing it. Because the moment you're trying to fight it, you put yourself into that survival mode. But if you allow it, and to allow it to be there for as long as it needs to move on, then you label it as something that is a normal experience that we all have at times, and you help that emotion move on naturally. So feeling discomfort doesn't mean that something is wrong. It means that something is moving, and your emotions are your guides. And once you act on that information that you've experienced and examined with curiosity, you will move on to a stronger version of yourself. So what do you do next time you feel a strong emotion? You name it. Then you try and find out where it sits in your body. Then you start breathing into that body part. And you stay present with your breath for at least 60 seconds, because those 60 seconds can already start changing how you relate to yourself. And you do this as often as you can. And try to remember, it's not about rushing this process. It's all about staying present with yourself and with your emotions. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you in the next video.